Hey everybody, welcome back to Louisiana Simple Living. This is Daryl. Today we're going to cook kind of a special meal. This is something that's been passed down from a couple generations. It is Cajun spaghetti. The recipe was created originally by Nita Roux Davis from Breaux Bridge, who is Aaron's grandmother, my wife's grandmother. And the thing that makes it unique or different, calling it a Cajun spaghetti, is you actually started off with a roux. But basically, it's a meat sauce, just like you'd have spaghetti, but you don't have all the tomato, as much tomato into it. It has the brown roux type of gravy, and we do add some tomato sauce to it, but it's really, really good. Here's the ingredients, all that you need. Sitting in front of me, 3 pounds of hamburger meat, a little bit of oil, a little bit of flour, and this happens to be canola oil. This is what we make our roux with. We got 2 small cans of tomato sauce, some Parmesan and other, this is actually Parmesan, Romano, and Assaggio cheese. Then we have a couple of bell peppers, 3 onions, and I think in the recipe I call for 5 cloves of garlic. This is 2 cloves of elephant garlic, which are pretty big. So we'll just stick with that. We moved over to the stove. What we're getting ready to do is make a roux. So you can use vegetable oil or canola oil, anything like that you want. I'm going to add a cup of the oil. All right, so we add a cup of the oil. You're going to put that on medium high. Bring up the temperature a little bit. All right, in the meantime, when you're making a roux, now you can do it different ways, and I may show on a later post. There's some different options you can use. My wife actually uses a whisk, and you just continuously whisking it around. Traditional way is you basically, again, as I did here, you just add the oil, wait till it warms up, we'll add that flour to it. And then what you want to use is kind of a flat, even surface. And a wooden spoon works perfect, or a wooden utensil works perfect for that. And that's what we have one of these in the house for. Pretty much the only thing we use it on is when you're making a roux. Again, flat. And the idea is when you're making a roux, if you let that flour stay in the same place for too long, it can burn. With a flat tip, you got a good surface area. And your pot, the kind of pot we're using right here, has a good, nice surface area, flat as well. So as we go, when we start heating this up, we'll actually, you keep going from the point you add you add the flour to the oil. You're going to keep stirring it. So if you need some water, you need a beverage, whatever it may be, go ahead and get that before you start your roux. Because you can't really walk away into the other room. It doesn't make sense because you may end up burning your roux and you spend all that time, putting that work in trying to get the roux right. And so let's take a quick look. All right, so what we're doing is we're just putting just a little bit of flour. You see how it's kind of balling up, whether you can tell it's the oil's warm, hot, and it's starting to kind of ball up. So I think we're pretty much close enough there. We can go ahead and add I'm going to turn up just a little bit more, because once you add the flour, it's going to obviously cool it down a little bit. But you don't want to have it too hot because you're not trying to get in a race. You don't want to get in a race. And I'm going to make a 5-minute roux that will result in burnt flour, and your roux will have a burnt taste, and it's not going to taste that good. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and add everything in. And what we typically do is just add it in a little bit and just kind of work it around and eliminate any lumps that you end up having. Because inevitably, as you put it in, it's going to kind of lump up a little bit. If you can kind of tell that the oil's starting to get a little warm, where it's kind of like bubbling up there, that's what it's coming from the warm oil starting to cook the flour. Again, so you just want to keep moving the flour. That's the goal here. Keep moving the flour. And this process will take, guys, it could take, and it depends how dark a roux you're looking for. You don't have to have a super dark roux for the Cajun spaghetti, but if you're, let's say if you're making a roux for a chicken andouille gumbo or something, I've had somebody tell me it needs to be roach brown. So you can use whatever descriptor you want, but it's going to be kind of a darker roux. All right, guys, it's been about 11 minutes or so. You can tell, I mean, we're steadily just moving the flour around. It's, we're gonna get it probably another 5 or 10 more minutes, just a little bit more darker. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a chocolate or like a roach brown, like it would be for a chicken andouille, like a chicken or andouille gumbo. So you don't have to have it quite that dark. And what we do, once we get it to the point that we got it to the desired brown color, then we'll add the 2 cans of the tomato sauce. Go ahead and kind of mix that in. That gets your base in place. Then we'll throw the vegetables in. We'll get the vegetables going together, just kind of like you do with a gumbo. Throw your vegetables in while it's good and hot, soften it up so you don't have to cook it as long to get the vegetables soft. Then we'll throw the 3 pounds of ground meat in and let that cook a while. We'll add some seasoning and things of that nature too. Salt and pepper. I like a little slap of mama Cajun seasoning. So we'll add a little bit of that, just to your taste. And then we'll serve it over angel hair spaghetti noodles or spaghetti pasta is what we have in the house. You can, if you want to, it's kind of contradictory. I'm sitting here making a flour and oil roux, but if you're worried about your carbs and trying to eat healthy, which we do here, this is just kind of something a special occasion. You can use like the spiral cut vegetables. One alternative, and the traditionalist will not be happy, but you can use like Savoy's has and there's other companies, but Savoy's has a dark roux, has a light roux and a dark roux. It's not as good as making it yourself, but it's not bad. So just an alternative little choice there if you're trying to make it on a night where you ain't got a whole bunch of time. You don't want to spend 30 minutes to an hour making a roux. At this point, I'm going to say the roux dark enough. You could go darker a little bit more. All right, so I think the roux is dark enough right now. So the next step is we got to add the tomato sauce. All right, so here's what we're going to do. All right, and of course this thing is hot, so we just want to get this all working together here. Make sure it don't stick, but it's just creating the base here. And we're just mixing it up. It's going to turn kind of a burgundy color, I guess. That's what we about when it gets to that consistency, that's what we want. At that point, I haven't adjusted the temperature at all yet. I think that's about the consistency we're looking for. You just want to kind of get some of the liquid to kind of dissipate a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do now is add in the vegetables, or the seasoning, as Gigi Nita would say. All right, so we're just going to work that in. And all we're doing, we're just letting it soften up. We're gonna let it cook for just a little bit. So the next step is to add the ground meat. So we got just 3 pounds of, I think it's 85/15, or doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot. It could be really lean or fat. So we add those. We add that, chop it all up, mix it all in, and we're gonna let this just cook till the ground meat starts cooking, till it's done. Now you're gonna get some oil start building up, and that's okay. We're gonna have a spoon ready, and we'll just start taking the oil, take the oil off the surface as it starts gathering. All right, so the meat sauce, Cajun meat sauce, has been cooking now for about 25 minutes, going on 30. We got the spaghetti on the bowl back here. Well, we haven't gone in yet. We got the water to boil back here. What we want to do is go ahead and give it just a little bit of seasoning. Got some fresh black peppercorn. So basically fresh pepper. I like a lot of pepper. All right. And then instead of adding salt, I'm going to add a little bit of this Slap Your Mama Cajun season. That's from Bill Platt. Good stuff. Just add a little bit of that to it too. Now we got it kind of seasoned up. So what we're waiting on now is to go ahead and get the pasta or the spaghetti noodles. Get them on. I got some Texas toast, garlic Texas toast. We're getting ready to throw in right now in the oven. All right, the water's kind of come up to boil here on our pot. This is just water for the spaghetti noodles. I like to break them in half. I don't know about you, but a little easier to eat unless you got the spoon or the fork and you want to wrap it all around the long one. So what I like to do again is kind of break them in half. And that's pretty hot. All right. That'll take about 7 minutes. All right, the oven's hot. We'll go and put the bread in. Texas toast, strong. Now, a couple different alternatives you can do. If you want to just kick it up a little bit, you can do bacon. You can fry some bacon. Just small pieces, throw it in. Pancetta. Another good, that's uncured. Basically, it's kind of like bacon, but uncured. That's pretty tasty. Fry that up again, throw it in. You could, I've actually even made it just to be different. Put a little bit of tasso. And again, I eat any of these kind of bacon, pancetta, tasso, brown it first, because that gives you that flavor. It gives you that gras-doux, as they say in South Louisiana. That gives it the flavor. Then when you add it to it, it'll absorb throughout the whole meat sauce. There's other things you can do. You could even add Italian sausage if you wanted that flavor. If you're used to that from kind of a traditional bread sauce or meat sauce. Different things you can do. Have fun with it. It's pretty good the way it is, and that's why we're going to have it tonight. We're going to go ahead and plate up real quick and get ready to eat. I'm hungry. Now, a little bit more ain't gonna hurt. All right, let's throw some peas on it. Now, you can put them on the side. I actually like my peas right on top of it. A little piece of Texas toast. and some Parmesan cheese. Sprinkle on top. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. This is one of our first videos and I forgot to do an opening and a closing. Anyhow, thanks for joining Louisiana Simple Living. If you haven't subscribed as yet, please subscribe, like this video, and ring the notification bell. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.